Hey everybody, welcome to my weekly Seopa Periscope chat. My name is Bobby Umar. I'm a four-time TEDx speaker, one of Inc. Magazine's top 100 leadership speakers. And today I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to have a nice casual conversation with you guys about vulnerability. And I appreciate all the people that have joined the conversations every week. I'm here every week at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I share my thoughts on seizing your passion, on entrepreneurship, careers, life, leadership, you name it. I'm willing to give my time for you, answer your questions, and I love what I do. Vulnerability is a topic that a lot of people have a hard time with. And I understand that because I've also had that same problem too. But before we get into it, let me just share a bit about myself. I'm a four-time TEDx speaker, one of Inc. Magazine's top 100 leadership speakers. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Let me know below where you're from. Hi, everybody. By all means, let me know where you're from. Share your thoughts. I really want you to really ask questions, give comments, tell me what you're really thinking. Because normally what I do is I'll give like a top 5 or a top 3 list of what I'm talking about. But let's really get into the topic of vulnerability. What are the things that make us vulnerable? And what are the things that you struggle with sharing from a vulnerable standpoint? If you like what you're hearing, by all means, tap the hearts and double tap. I love the hearts. It's great. Double tap, triple tap the hearts. Share us on Facebook. Share us on Twitter. The reason why vulnerability is so important is because one of the hardest things to do when breaking through all the clutter of social media and information overload is authenticity, is humanity, is real people with real struggles and real problems. We all have them. And when you embrace vulnerability, you are showing that you can do that. You're showing that you're willing to take your heart and give it out to people and let people into your lives. There are people out there that have this veneer, or they're always on, and that they have this spotlight on them, and even then they have trouble being vulnerable. But it always comes back to people will connect more and trust more those people that are more vulnerable, and that's why I always encourage people to embrace it and take the vulnerability to the next level. I'm going to share a little bit about something that I struggle with. Okay, again, we all struggle with stuff. I know what I'm good at. I'm good at people and connection, networking, personal branding, social media. I know I'm good at that type. I know I'm good at solving certain problems, not making assumptions. I'm good at emotional processing. I still struggle. The biggest struggle of my life is my weight. I'm a big guy, right? Big, large person. I just came back from my diabetes doctor today. I'm diabetic too, type 2. And he looked at my A1C count, and the good news is that my A1C is one of the lowest I've had in years, 5.9, which is, that's great. My weight is a little bit down before, which is great. But, just yesterday, I binged. I binged on food, and while I'm eating it, I absolutely hate what I'm doing. I feel sad. I feel upset with myself. And it's a very, very difficult thing to go through. I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better. And I know that, we all struggle with this kind of stuff. So, and if you have stuff like that, by all means, I'd love to hear some of the things that you're struggling with. How do I manage that? Well, I go to my network. I talk about it here openly. I talk to my wife. I let my close friends know. And they're more willing to, listen to what I have to say. And here's the other thing. By talking about it, you're more likely able to do it. So vulnerability has another double thing, which is great. If you share vulnerability about a topic that you're struggling with, by talking about it, you're more likely to be able to build a better mindset around it and be able to emotionally process it. It's like writing in a journal. So that to me is a huge benefit or bonus to talking about vulnerability. And vulnerability also, why do people struggle with it? Well, I think most people are afraid of being judged. Most people are afraid of putting it out there, and it's like telling someone you love them and they don't tell you they love you back. What? That's a big matzo ball out there and no one's responding. It's hard, right? But even that, like saying you love someone without worrying about whether they say it back or not, that is amazing. Saying I like you and I want to be with you, and they don't say anything back. Or the risk of them not saying back. Again, it's powerful because it allows you to take ownership of what you really want in life and what's really important to you in life, and get people to really respond to you in an authentic way. And I'll tell you, time and time and time and time and time and time again, if someone posts on Facebook or Twitter or in an email and they talk about how they're suffering from depression because their father died or their mother died, or they are struggling with their weight, or they're struggling with depression, or they're struggling with cancer, or they're struggling with abuse, or whatever it might be, what is your reaction? Is your reaction, oh my gosh? For most of our reactions, oh my gosh, I feel for you. I know other people are going through this. I want to reach in. I want to reach inside there, and I want to give you a big hug. I want to help you. I want to be there for you. I wish I could help you. That's how we all feel. We all feel like we wish we could help them. We have empathy. We care. The human experience is that we care about one another because we all struggle through similar things. And so, if someone else that exposes or shares vulnerability, and you feel you feel for them, you empathize with them, and you really want to help them. And again, I thank you for sharing this on Twitter and Facebook, and again, the likes and the hearts. By all means, I love it. If you like what you're hearing, please double tap. Let's carry the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts too. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're struggling with. What kind of things do you struggle with from a vulnerability standpoint? So when you share that vulnerability, it's huge. It makes a huge impact for those people because everyone responds. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm here for you. Call me. What can I do for you? And everybody responds. I had a similar thing about 4 or 5 months ago when my father-in-law died, and I posted how I was really sad about that, and people responded. So if time and time again you know that when people share vulnerability and the support network, the people who really care will step up and say stuff, then you should know in your head and your heart that if you share vulnerability about your struggles, whether it's with your weight or your work or your relationships or whatever it might be, you're going to get people who respond. I'm a dad too, and I'm a parent, and I hang out with my parenting friends, and we have dinners, and we talk about our kids. That's great. We talk about our kids. We talk about the challenge with our kids. Oh, Niall's having trouble eating, or Billy is having trouble with discipline, or Sally's having trouble at school, and fine. But you know what we don't talk about? We don't talk about the things that are really on our mind. Most parents struggle with, I don't know what I'm doing with my kids. I'm feeling overwhelmed. We don't talk about, as parents, about politics, spirituality. We don't talk about sex, finances. We don't talk about infertility problems. We don't talk about depression. That's holding back our relationships or holding back our ability to parent. There's just so much going on, and we don't talk about it. But imagine if we did. Imagine we actually embraced vulnerability and said, you know what, we had trouble conceiving, or we're having trouble with our finances, or we're having trouble, honestly, with our sex life. And what will your parenting friends do? Will they respond? I think they will. Every time I've tried to, engage in a conversation, of deep conversation, like fertility is a good one, or politics, the conversation becomes really incredible and not just about our kids, which, again, it's important, but by doing so, it really fundamentally changes not only the idea that, hey, we can talk about the things that are really, really important to us and bothering us. Similarly with my weight stuff, I talk about it all the time now, and so now people are far more comfortable asking me, how's my weight struggles? If you see an overweight person over there, or they're your friends and they're overweight, you're not willing to talk to them and say, hey, how's the weight? Because you're like, oh, I'm offending you. But because I talk about it all the time, now people come and have great conversations with me about it, and the more I talk about it, the more it's in my mindset, and the better I'm going to defeat it. So, vulnerability, man, vulnerability is real, vulnerability is human, vulnerability is authentic. And so, if you can talk about those things, it's amazing what you can accomplish. Now, I know that I'd love to hear from you guys. I mean, what kind of things do you struggle with when it comes to sharing your vulnerability? What kind of things that challenge you? What kind of things are you afraid to share? What do you not want to talk about because you're afraid about being vulnerable? Brené Brown did a great study. Research, the data shows that vulnerability creates deeper, more powerful connection. I talked about that study in my own TEDx talk on the 5 C's of connection. So we know that vulnerability creates deeper connection. We know vulnerability gets response. We know vulnerability builds trust. We know vulnerability creates better engagement. So what are you waiting for? Share below. Let me know what you think. If you have other things you want to share about from a vulnerability standpoint, comment below. Comment on the seopa.com/stream website. Look at the videos. See what's going on, because vulnerability, I think, is the greatest topic of our lives. And if you are willing to throw me right below, or even in the comment sections, what are the things that you truly feel vulnerable about, that you truly struggle with, then you know what? That would be an amazing topic for our next weekly Periscope. I would love to talk about it. I would love to share with you, because I know that when my friends do that with me, I'm able to help, because I have empathy, I have a lot of knowledge and experience, and I'm able to give and create an environment of trust. And that's what I'm doing here for you today. I'm sharing my vulnerability, the things I struggle with. I struggle with my weight and my food addiction. I struggle with the busy life of an entrepreneur. I struggle with distraction. I struggle with feeling overwhelmed. There's lots of great things too. Love my wife and kids, love my work, love the job, love the hearts, by the way. I have a lot of things to be thankful for. I'm following a path of passion, purpose that's aligned with who I am. I found my personal brand. I've been doing the same thing now. Actually, happy anniversary to me. It's been 10 years since I started my speaking coaching business. So, this is not your typical Periscope that I've had before, but I really wanted to share those thoughts, and I really want to encourage you. We all feel overwhelmed sometimes. September, October is really hard for me, because it's the kids, back to school and back to work, and no vacations, and the weather starts to change, and missing summer. Like, lots of things happen. So, I really want to encourage you to comment and share where you're from, but tell me what you're struggling with. Embrace vulnerability here in this chat, also on the website. And if you do so, I promise you, I will honor that by trying to do another talk specifically on those topics that we struggle with. All right, so hope you found this useful. I hope you found it motivational. I'm doing my best to try to help people out. So I wish you all the best, and I'm glad that you're here joining me today, and hope you join me every week. Thanks for the hearts again. Join me every week, 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Seopa Seize Your Passion, and I'm going to do another great chat next week. But I'm also here to answer any questions. You can find me at Rehan Bobby. You can submit a question via Q4BobbyU, the hashtag, and I will do my best to respond. Thanks so much, and have an amazing week.